Okay, here is our big picture of cellular respiration. And we see that glycolysis is happening in the cytoplasm of the cell, so outside the mitochondria. We haven't even gotten inside the mitochondria yet for glycolysis. Okay, so what's going in and what's going out of glycolysis? So in, we've got glucose. And out, we have pyruvate molecules. And there's 2 of those. So for every 1 glucose molecule that goes in, there's 2 pyruvate molecules that come out. We also need to put in ATP. So a little bit of ATP to activate this reaction. And what comes out then? To ADP, so adenosine triphosphate, adenosine diphosphate. So it's lost, each of those molecules has lost inorganic phosphate molecule, and that's what that stands for. So phosphate, and it's inorganic. Let's see, so, and both of those go back into the reaction with 2 more. So then we have 4 ADP, adenosine diphosphate, and 4 inorganic phosphate molecules. And then we get 4 ATP. So here they are right here. We get, there's 2 and there's 2. Also, that goes into the reaction, we've got these NAD plus molecules. So these are our high energy electron carriers. So let's see, NAD plus, and what comes out, NADH molecules. These molecules are extremely important, and they are going to go to the electron transport chain. So in this process right here, we ended up with a total of 2 ATP. So not really a whole lot for that whole process. Most of the energy has gone into these molecules right here. Oops, let me make sure. Yep, 2 of them. So there's got to be 2. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about what that molecule is right there and why it's called an energy, high energy electron carrier. Okay, I like this picture. I think this really, it helps me to visualize what's going on. So there are high energy electrons that are in glucose molecule. They are then transported into cellular respiration and in the glucose molecule, and then transferred to our NAD+. So what I like to think of our high energy electrons. These 2 right here these are the main characters of this story of cellular respiration. And we need to watch them through the whole process. What happens to them as they go through this story of cellular respiration? So first they get in, you can think of NAD plus as a taxi. So they get in this taxi. So along with, here they are, they go into this taxi along with 1 hydrogen to make this molecule right here, which is our NAD+. NADH molecule. And so then our two main characters will then come out of the taxi in a later stage of cellular respiration. But for right now, they're being getting a ride inside this taxi to their next stop. Okay. So our next stage, actually this is called our bridge stage. So bridge. And we've got our pyruvate, or it's also called pyruvic acid. And an enzyme, of course, is here at this step to help catalyze this reaction. And in the process, in this step, pyruvic acid will be attached to this coenzyme A, so that the whole molecule is now called acetyl-CoA. And in the process, carbon dioxide, here it is, our first molecule of carbon dioxide. So for each pyruvate molecule, we'll get one carbon dioxide here, and we get another high energy electron carrier with our high energy electron stars of the show in here. So they're in here. Here's our stars of the show, and they're here in that molecule right there. So the energy that was taken, or the energy that came off when this carbon dioxide, when carbon was bonded to oxygen, that energy has now been transformed into another molecule, this NADH molecule. Okay, now we finally get to go into the second stage. And this is either called the Krebs cycle or the citric acid cycle. Krebs was the individual who discovered this. And it's called the citric acid cycle because citric acid is used in one of the stages, or one of the steps of the citric acid cycle. So in this, let's take a look here. There are 8 steps. In our citric acid cycle. And each one is catalyzed again by, guess what? Enzyme. Yeah. And in the process, we get, here are high energy electron carriers again. And this is the one we're familiar with. We know this character right here. This is also a friend of NADH. You can think of it like that. FADH2 is a friend of NADH. So also another high energy electron carrier. And in the process, 2 molecules of carbon dioxide are formed. And finally, yay, we get a little bit of ATP. So for each molecule of pyruvate coming off, we get 1 ATP. So for a total of 2 ATP. So far, we've gone through glycolysis, we've gone through the bridge step, we've gone through citric acid cycle, and so far all we've gotten is, let's see, 4 ATP. So most of the ATP is going to happen in the next step, in the electron transport chain. Okay, and that's what we're going to talk about in the next video.